Today's video we're going to go over the condemned Crusader, and let's go get right into the gear here. You will need the akkhan set, the shoulders, the headpiece, the armor, the pants, and the gloves, and the amulet. The big thing with this set, you got to have, this build, you got to have at least 56-57% cooldown. So on your items, like your gloves, your shoulders, if you can get it on your amulet, you don't have to get it on your amulet. Your weapon, your shield, you got to get right around that 56 to 57% cooldown. Weapons, here's the thing, you could use the Blade of Prophecy in the weapon slot and have the furnace here, but in this build, percent matters. Big thing, your percent on your weapons. Why? I have a better Blade of Prophecy that's in the stash. On here, the furnace is obviously, as you can see, is ancient, and it does 50% to elites. So I got a perfect roll on that, and then I want that 800% increase on condemned. So I put the Blade of Prophecy in here. Even though that my blade does more damage than my furnace, I get full percentage. You gotta have that percentage. And then, let's see here. So I showed you the weapons. The rings, focus, and restraint. You want cooldown on both these. Obviously you can see on mine, I got 50% damage on both. And then Friders, sorry if I said that wrong, Wrath. On the shield, this is a big pain. I do have a couple ancients, but they don't roll right. You need crit damage, cooldown, and increased condemned damage. And obviously, that percentage on the bottom number there, if you can get that closer to 800, do so. Strong arm bracers, again, enemies hit by knockback suffer 30% is the max. And that's what you want. Higher percentage on everything. So percent is more important than damage here. And then let's talk about the jewels. Bane of the Stricken, obviously the higher the better here. Bane of the Trapped, and Alteration. Alteration's a big player here. You want to get that, if you can, maxed out. And then your belt, you want String of Ears. Again, I kept rolling it until I got 30% damage reduction from melee attacks. Very important. What I can recommend is just keep doing bounties here. And keep rolling your stuff until you get that percent. On your shoulders, you want cooldown, condemn damage, and life if you can get it. On the armor, condemn damage, life again. And I already showed you the shield. The boots are illusionary boots. Long as you get life, the ideal is strength, bite, resistance all, movement speed. That's the best you can get there. And then the ring slot and the cube, unity. I see some people can roll with convention of elements. You're way more squishy. Obviously in your group you can put convention, and you can definitely help out with the damage with the group. But when you start pushing them really high riffs, the damage reductions is wonderful. In the armor slot, Leoric's Crown, again for cooldown, because I got a diamond in here. It adds, 100% more, 100% of the jewel. Gems, I'm sorry. And then on your helper, which is very important, unity. Gotta have unity on your helper there. And then which would help you is the Oculus ring. As soon as that ring drops and you can pull them guys over to increase your damage, do so, because you'll have a ton of damage as you get all your ancient gear in that, but it would definitely help to get them guys in the circle. The skills on this build are slash with guard, provoke, too scared to run. That will slow down the enemies in their attack speed. Condemned, vacuum, champion, prophecy. Laws of valor, unstoppable force, and iron skin, steel skin. Here's your passives: Long of the Law, Holy Cause, Heavenly Strength. So them are your passives and your skills. And what you want to be doing is, since you have your cooldown set, you'll always have your champion up. And then you'll be hitting your Laws of Valor.
Patience.
Oops, sorry. Your Iron Skin. And when you can, you get that big group, hit that Provoke. That will slow them right down so you take less damage. And obviously keep hitting Vacuum. See how fast it cools off? And do not stop moving, because as soon as you stop moving, they will do massive amounts of damage on you. Unless, use your best judgment. If you can stand toe-to-toe with a champion that's not doing like fire, poison, and lasers on you, if you can stand toe-to-toe, stay there. Because what you want to do is, when you get in that group, once in a while you got to hit them. Why? Because your focus and your restraint. That will kick in, increase your damage. What's the most important, another thing that's really important about this build is the planning of it, and get your cooldown right, your damage, all your condemned damage, and all your pieces. It's not like a necromancer where you're going to be able to throw gear on and just go out and do a 90. It's just not going to happen with this build. A lot of preparation, a lot of bounties. You got to run, roll, and roll. You'll be rolling for a while, unless you get really lucky. I had to do like, I think 50 to 60 bounties to get some of my gear. So if you don't have a ton of patience, don't even attempt this build. But let me show you. I'm gonna go do a 101.
wounds are deep. Wounds healed. Not yet. Heal me. Not ready yet. His wounds are deep. I need healing. Not yet. Patience. Not ready yet. Not yet. Patience. Not yet. Not ready yet. I don't like you down. Patience. Not yet. Unemployed. Patience. Not ready yet.
Don't like the look of that.
Not yet. wounds are deep. Not yet. Not ready yet. Burn in the light. Not yet. Not ready yet. Let a light be down. Not ready yet.
Should have run when they had the
Not yet. Heal me. Not yet.
The Red Guardian is here.
Not yet. Not ready yet. Patience. Not yet. Not ready yet. Not yet. Not ready yet. Patience.
Morning is there. When the chance, if you have it, let's see what we can do.
I am returning to town.
A fine battle.